Hey, it's Shar.
And this is Denver.
And we're
Just like that.
Welcome to the unofficial recap podcast for Max's original series. And just like that, we're so excited. Denver,
So
you
excited.
ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so let's get things started.
All right, we're recording. I can bring us in whenever you're ready.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of We're Just Like That. Denver and I are recapping season 3, episode 4, Apples to Apples. How are you today,
Yes.
Denver?
I'm doing well. Let me actually bring this mic kind of closer to me. I'm doing well. It's been a chaotic morning, but you know what? We're here.
Same. It's been
We are
chaotic for
here.
me too. I feel like our listeners are like just used to this by now.
I know.
There's been something going on every week this damn season, but you know, you all bear with us. We still get together.
It's life. Life happens to all of us.
It's life, and I want to take time to remind people, like Denver and I tried something new last week, and we're doing it again this week. We're using a visual medium as well. You can head on over to YouTube to watch the episode. It's the We're Just Like That, YouTube channel. Thanks to Denver.
Yeah. You'll find it. It's an ad. I think it's We're Just Like That show is the name.
Okay.
The other one was taken. Well, who the fuck would take that? But somebody
really
did. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I know. I was so annoyed. No, it was like some 1995, I guess 2005, like old clip show or something like that.
It's giving Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, I'm happy to see you and to be tackling this episode. Before we begin, we do have 2 messages coming in from SpeakPipe. Shout out to those of you who are interactive. I want to take this time to remind you to head on over to speakpipe.com/we're just like that and let your voice be heard, because you are our honorary 3rd co-hosts and we want to hear from you.
I'm going to queue them up.
But before we play them, I just want to acknowledge that in Just Like That's socials announced that Pop passed away, the actor that played him, Harry's father, and we'll get into it. I know. I don't know if it was recent or if
I
just
googled
chose to announce it.
It was 10 days ago.
Oh, damn.
It was June 10th.
So he didn't even get a chance to see his episode.
I mean, hopefully they got to send it to him beforehand, because right? I would hope.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that. But let's hear from our listeners, our co-hosts.
Let's do it.
And see what they have to say about last week.
All right, Erica, let's see what you had to say.
Hey, you all. I'm so glad you're back. I could not wait to see if you were reviewing this season. I was always refreshing my podcast. So thanks for being here for us Sex and the City fans. I just wanted to point out that I noticed like how phallic, that's the best word I could use to describe it, that Miranda and that cat furniture thing, how she was just twisting and turning that around. I thought that was so funny, and it just looked like phallic and a nod to her not liking men anymore. So wondering what you all thought about that scene when she was fooling around with that cat tree. All right, until next week, bye.
I didn't even notice that.
Me neither. And I always notice the phallic something. That's kind of my thing.
Okay, now.
But I didn't catch up on that.
I didn't catch that either.
Look again.
But I wonder if that was just the genius of Cynthia Nixon, or if it's by happenstance. Because I mean, they do slide in. They slide in. Like I remember last season when they did the toast to Stanford Blatch, when it was Anthony and Carrie drinking the Cosmos, like Sarah Jessica, her downing the Cosmo was not in the script. Like sometimes they do little stuff. So maybe that's an Easter egg from Cynthia Nixon.
It was just like habitual,
Okay.
What happens?
But no, Cynthia Nixon is a lesbian in real life.
I mean, true. Fair enough. So I was thinking about myself.
Well, it would be habitual in that case.
Well, hey.
Our second one is from Cindy. And this is what Cindy had to say.
Hi, Denver and Shar. My name's Cindy, and I'm so glad you guys are back for us for a 3rd season. I just have 2 quick things to drop off. First, as someone who was Team Aidan CEO high for the OG series, I am so over him now in the reboot. I was honestly upset when I saw that he was billed for season 3. I'm just ready for Carrie to be single again, especially now that it's been enough time since Big has passed so she can fully date without that baggage. And Seema's single, Miranda's single, so it could even be kind of reminiscent to the OG series. So I really hope they don't drag him all throughout the season. Second, I currently live in DC, and as I was listening to the last episode, I was on my leisurely afternoon walk and happened to walk by a dead rat. So I'm just here to confirm what Shar said a few weeks ago about the rats in DC. Thanks, guys. Can't wait for the rest of the episodes.
Well,
Well,
I may tell a joke, but I'll never tell a lie. The rats in DC are out of control.
that's crazy. I did not see a single one.
They run that town. But
Wow.
also, I'm glad that everybody's jumping on board. Granted, I know that this is just Cindy, but everybody's jumping on board about, Aidan, waking up to Aidan not being a mismatch for Carrie in this current station in her life.
Yeah, and I mean, to her point, like I was really hoping we would get rid of him. And I know last week I made a lot of predictions, and I think they all came from a place of like wanting him to fuck up so badly that we did get rid of him.
Yeah.
And as we see in this episode, we'll get into it, but that just didn't happen.
Let me ask you this. Would you have preferred Aidan to leave or Che to leave?
Ooh,
You have to choose one.
I'll leave. I'll just I'll just stop watching. No.
Okay,
I'll say Che.
Yeah,
They can
yeah.
go.
I say the same. I
Yeah, they can go.
read a
They
headline.
can
I didn't
go.
get a chance to reading the story, but there was a headline where Sarah Jessica was honestly shocked at the amount of people that hated Che Diaz. Like I said, I didn't get
Really?
around to reading the interview, but like she was genuinely surprised that like, damn, people really hated this character. So that's interesting.
That's crazy because
Yeah.
they were around for 2 seasons.
Yeah, they were, and they gave us hell.
Yeah, they did.
gave us hell. So are you ready to jump into season
Yeah.
3, episode 4?
Yeah, let's do it. What was the name of this episode?
Apples to Apples.
Apples to Apples. You know what? I've never played that game.
I haven't either, but it sounds like it's just a game of like matching the card. It's like a hybrid of so many different games, like Cards Against Humanity,
Right, but for
and
kids.
like yeah.
Yeah. Won't be
So
playing that one.
I build this episode, nightmares come to life, because there were a series of nightmares coming to life. I have to say, Carrie had me laughing out loud during this episode for nothing in particular other than like nonverbal communication.
Absolutely. I feel like her reactions were so real.
They were so real.
Like they were so real.
Like
They were so real.
I definitely felt like, my skin crawling. Like this is how I would be reacting in this situation too, just kind of wanting to disappear into the wall, so to
What's
speak.
funny is when I look at my notes, I think I have like, oh no, in caps like 10 times. Like
No, this episode was a pure nightmare.
just, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
Maybe
no.
we should name this episode Oh No.
Well, I was gonna go with obviously Wild Cunt, because
I don't think we can put cunt in the title, Denver. They'll flag us.
I'll figure it out, but we'll
Maybe
we're not even there.
CVNT, like how they do on Twitter.
Yeah.
Or Little House on the Carrie. Either or like
I love that.
it varies. But it opens with Carrie. We get Carrie. She's in Virginia. She's just now waking up. She was asleep, and the boys are already awake, and they're with Aidan, and they're outside doing some painting. Carrie is sitting there. She's listening, smiling. I was wondering if Carrie was entertaining, like if she was genuinely feeling good, or like picturing herself how she would fit into this equation, because she can hear the family dynamic outside. And of course, Wyatt is looking into the window, the bedroom
like
window.
A creep.
I just saw her. She's awake.
Like, mind your business.
I mean,
I was trying to figure out if Carrie was gonna decide whether she was actually gonna go out there or just like stay in bed.
Yeah, I think that had he not clocked her, she might have stayed in bed a little longer.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred her to have stayed in bed and just like quietly just left.
Like left Virginia?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get to that.
You had me in the guest house, so in my mind, I'm like, we're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sister should have pulled the plug this episode. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, Carrie is in this gorgeous dress. Learned just a few minutes ago on the Just Like That Instagram that the same strappy heels that we see her emerging from the room in
Mhm.
are the same shoes that she wore in the promo for Sex and the City 2, the movie when
Oh,
they went to Abu
wow.
Dhabi. So they've been doing a lot of like repeat outfits. Like I get like those Instagram suggestions from fan
Mhm.
pages. And it's like, oh, Carrie wore this sweater season 3, episode 12, and she's wearing it of Sex in the
Well,
City, and she's wearing it now again, type
well,
thing.
were we talking about it? Did I watch a video where she said that in her contract she has everything that Carrie's ever worn in her
Yeah,
archive?
yeah.
So
I
when
think
they
I don't
so when
think
they
we
build out her
talked about it, but
okay.
I've heard her say that in interviews.
Yeah, so she was saying that when they build out their Carrie's closet for the season, they like to go back and just kind of pull pieces since she has them all. And I was like, how fire
Yeah.
is that? Like, I would love to put that in a contract for any
But
show.
also, how do you not fuse that wardrobe with your own? Like things can
Well,
get so lost in the sauce. Like,
I mean, I feel like over the years it probably has become her own,
true.
you know?
True, because she had the relationships with Manolo Blahnik. I can't remember what podcast I was listening to at the inception of Sex in the City. That's how they
Mhm.
like she took a chance on him when he was an up and coming fashion designer and they
Mm,
became friends. And so that's how a lot of stuff was leased to them in those first seasons. It might have been one of them Kristen Davis episodes, you know.
that explains it. Yeah.
So we see that Homer loves Carrie. Wyatt does not see it for the doll at all.
No, Homer was so nice. Like Homer was
Homer
so
was so
friendly.
nice and friendly and welcoming.
Mhm.
Um, and later when we get Tate in the episode, he seems a bit indifferent.
Yeah, Tate's
So
grown over the bullshit.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's got something going on over in that Aidan family, but Carrie is musty. And so she's trying to
Mm.
figure out what her next move is gonna be. The luggage is gone. She needs Aiden's
Mhm.
speed stick, and Homer has offered her some of his clothing.
And I have speed stick. Who the fuck uses a speed stick in 2020? What is 4
A white man in
in the
rural
show?
Virginia.
That's disgusting. You might as well said
He
axe.
probably still has some Old Spice too.
I'm not mad at Old Spice. I'm not mad at
I
Old
am.
Spice. Really?
I
Was it
am. I'm
personal?
traumatized from boys
Okay.
after
Okay.
gym class. Old Spice and
Oh,
Axe. Just
no,
clouds
axe
of
is
it.
terrible. Axe is terrible. I saw somebody in
Clouds
my
of it.
timeline on Instagram doing a brand deal with Axe, and I was like, I hope the check was good. Like, I
Are they
hope
still around?
they're still around.
Oh,
And I think they're doing like the whole full body thing that everybody else is doing.
the full body
I know.
deodorant. Shut up.
Yeah.
By the way, have you been watching Next Gen
Oh,
NYC?
you know I have. You know I have. You know I have.
Ooh, I know that's another show, but wow, some of those hygiene practices. So when I was on the red carpet for
Yeah.
the BET Awards, I forgot to mention, Candy Burris loves me. She may not know my name, but she loves me. I'm not
Mhm.
sure that she knows my name, but she loves me. So Candy and Riley weren't doing press. So they were walking past and I said, Candy, I'll catch you next time. And she ends up teetering, like we were teetering like Wendy and her heels up to each other and gave each other a big hug. And she was like, I just love you. And I was like,
Oh,
congratulations, Candy. Like, you look great. And so as Riley was walking past, I said, Riley, you have a new fan in me. I wouldn't have shaken that girl's hand either. And she like fell over laughing. I want to touch that girl either.
no, that was so different show. We'll talk about it
Different
offline.
show,
It's
but yes.
a different
So
show.
so yeah, and then we get Miranda, this next scene. Miranda, it's a little throwaway scene, but Miranda's
Yeah.
sleeping Carrie's bed and she was in the kitty condo. And I found this funny because I like cats. And this is part of some of my For You page algorithm on TikTok because when it's breakfast time, it's breakfast time. And
Mhm.
she was letting her know that you've overslept and it's time to get up and perhaps feed me and scoop a litter box. You're in my home.
Mhm. Absolutely. He was like, my mama don't do this, so you're
Yeah,
not about to do it either.
you not about to do it
You're
either.
not doing that. No, sorry.
That was a fun scene. I liked that. But then we get to LTW and Herbert. They're chatting as they get dressed for the day, and Herbert informs her that she's been talking in her sleep lately.
It happens.
LTW is 3 weeks behind on picking an editor to replace Grace, and the stress is coming through. Do you talk in your sleep? I just heard you say it happens.
It happens. Not often, but I've been woken up because I was like screaming and talking and doing all type of stuff. But it normally only does happen when I'm stressed, when I have like something underlying going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. I know people that
It happens.
have night tremors. I would never know if I talked in my sleep. No one's ever told me, but I also sleep alone, so I would know.
Do you remember your dreams when you wake up? Because some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like my
Yes, I
dreams are so
do. And
vivid. They have like plot lines. Like they are sometimes they're crazy, but I can remember every single detail, sights, smells, colors. I've written songs in my sleep that I've woken up and like had to just kind of like get out because like they're that vivid. Like it's kind of insane.
damn.
I know.
What I typically do, everybody knows listening. Everybody should know by now that how much I journal. And so typically that is what I will do if I have a dream, no matter if it's a nightmare or just a regular dream, I will typically wake up and as soon as I open my eyes, write it out so I don't forget any details. And then I'll consult, like I'll look, see what the internet says. Like I dreamt about this,
Yeah.
this. And so,
I do that sometimes.
I try to,
Yeah.
and I try to get meaning from it because I'm one of those woo-woo girls. I'm woo-woo adjacent where I want to know, like, is this what's coming through for me? What's coming up for me? So I don't believe anything is by happenstance, really.
Yeah, I don't either.
Especially when you dream about people that you hadn't seen or spoken to or people from the past or who might have gone on, like are deceased.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I write all of that down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same.
So,
Same. But back to this, I want to
yeah.
in my notes I have that she's 3 weeks behind, and I've come to realize that LTW is just not good with time management, and she's just not good with respecting other people's time, because again, we're already 8 years out, and now it's 3 more weeks. Like you're just not good.
She's really trying. She's pining and wringing her hands over picking the right kind of editor. She wants a Black woman.
For
3 weeks is kind of crazy, especially when Grace, a trusted friend and colleague and source, gave you a list of people. Like that's
also money.
I could see if she was looking from scratch, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You said it's also money.
Money. Time is money. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks of what? People on payroll? Are they on pause? Are they like furloughed? Like what are we doing?
Oh, furloughed. That's a trigger word for me. Shout out to lockdown. So
yeah.
Then we get the next scene. Charlotte is with her family and they're starting the day. We learned that Harry's father is in town. Pop is in town. Lily reveals that her boyfriend Diego is coming to dinner. We'll be joining them for dinner. And the funniest thing, the lady in 10F, apartment 10F, she is all about community. Okay. She's all about using a resource guide, and she's looking for a banana on the message board. Rock is all up and through this.
And I would be too. You know what? My old building has a Facebook group that I'm still in just because I like to see all of the happenings that go on, because the building was chaotic. And it's still chaotic, but I'm so nosy. I just like to kind of keep tabs of.
Listen, have you ever been on Nextdoor?
Yeah, I hate Nextdoor.
Yeah, I didn't follow through with it because I didn't like the whole confirmation and sending me the postcard and use the QR code. It felt like, why can't I just join?
Like even my
Ring,
it
felt like too much surveillance.
Like even the Ring doorbell has like a community thing, and I don't read those just because it's too broad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's too broad.
Now, what I am
some squirrel was on the sidewalk and had a sign. I'm like, nobody gives a shit.
Well, some people listen. You got elderly people part of that stuff too. One thing that I am part of is I'm a part of a few neighborhood watch groups, and I'm able to be discreet in them, like on Facebook, either in my neighborhood or like surrounding neighborhoods. And in all honesty, what's been incredibly tough is that they have been used more recently to alert people of ICE raids. And so I've seen how close, I'm in these Facebook groups and I'm seeing where they're popping up, which, by the way, have you ever heard of something called a First Amendment auditor?
No.
So I looked it up, and it's like this group that harasses people. Like they were just at the Trader Joe's near my house on the sidewalk, and it's like they challenged the First Amendment. You got to look it up. I can't. I'm not versed enough to.
I think I've seen like videos, like a guy would just go out and just start filming.
Yeah.
People
and they antagonize
people.
It's like harassment. Yes.
Stupid. How bored do you have to be? How privileged do you have to be to just go outside and just piss people off for fun?
To harass people. Like it's been crazy at some of the updates that I've been seeing. But nevertheless, we get as I mentioned, yeah, this lady's all about community. She wants, Harry is imitating her, like, anybody got a spare saltine? And we later meet her in the episode.
We do.
I should note that Rock is tasked with clearing up Pop's iPad. And I have in my notes that I knew that this spelled trouble. I knew that this
Did
spelled
you?
trouble.
See,
Yes,
it didn't
I
even
just
register to
felt
me.
it.
It didn't even
I
register.
felt it. I felt
blanked. That's funny.
I was like, this old man with a corrupted iPad. It's either going to be online gambling or pornography. Those are the only thing giving you
I thought it was going to be
aggressive
something
ads.
dumb, like Charlotte's dog situation. I thought we were just going down some.
I think we're past that. Can we not ever reference the season 3 premiere ever again? That's such a rogue episode. It just didn't fit. It's not. They're knocking it out the park.
Yeah, it never happened.
They're knocking it out the park now. That premiere, no, ma'am. I don't know what they were thinking.
They weren't.
So then we get Charlotte is so enthused that Lily wants the family to meet Diego. So we know how she reacts to things like this. Our next scene is Carrie having breakfast with the boys, and Wyatt is mean mugging her with his stress ball. Homer asks how long Carrie plans on staying, and Aidan jumps in and says that Tate is coming up from UVA on Wednesday to celebrate his 21st birthday, and he was hoping that Carrie would stay for that. I have in my notes, not only did he blindside her, but he definitely put her on the spot because she was not prepared for this.
I have qualms with this entire thing.
Me too.
First, you can't come in the house because it's going to disrupt what my kids got going on.
Talk about it.
But then they can find out what's going on before I wake up and be so comfortable that they can actually look into my guest house window and not be bothered.
Yes.
And then not only are they not bothered that I'm there, but then you have me at breakfast.
Yeah.
And not only am I at breakfast, you're asking me to stay until Wednesday. So in the span of like 8 hours, it went from, I'm not asking you to stay, you can stay, you got to stay in the guest house, to can you stay here until Wednesday?
I also want to latch on to that because what can't be erased from the conversation is when Aidan told Carrie that they kind of planned their days out the night before. Like, the boys don't like surprises. You can't come in the house because they didn't know you were coming. I'm going to tell them. But now over breakfast, you can just sporadically, mention, you want me to stay. And why wasn't this discussed the night before?
Right.
So
yeah,
I just think Aidan's so full of shit.
This whole episode, it fueled my Aidan hate to the nth degree. I do not
like him. I never thought I'd reach a point where I did not like Aidan, but I cannot stand him.
So it went from.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it went from me not liking him for Carrie to me not liking him just as a person.
Right, because for me, it represents a very, very, very specific brand of manipulation and a very, very specific, like, if you blink, you miss it. You got to have some lived experience in order to clock someone like Aidan, because you'll miss it. Miss it.
Because it's wrapped in care.
Yeah, and kissing you on the forehead.
Yeah.
And
okay. Well, we got some things.
We do.
So I also have at breakfast, the younger kid, I forgot his name, is super helpful, and Wyatt's a cunt. And it's so funny because I wrote
Homer.
And it's so funny because I wrote that before, not knowing that word would come into play. Cunt. Yes. But I was like, Wyatt's actually kind of a cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Carrie needs clothes and suggests Target. But Target is an hour away. So she says she wants something closer, and then enters Daisy's dress shop, which is a mile away. Homer offers to take her, but Carrie says she can walk. I found this to be out of character because a mile in New York City is not the same as a mile in rural Virginia. Right. We just saw Carrie running from rats. There's wildlife. It's hot. Flies swarming. I don't imagine. Like, I just looked at this as out of character. I don't imagine a city girl like Carrie.
Well, I thought it was her trying to be all easy breezy and not disrupt what they got going on.
Fair.
Like, well, I can walk, girl. No, you can't.
No, you can be so serious. But I did notice, and I know this gets addressed in the next scene. I was like, why didn't Aidan offer to take her? Why is his sons feeling confident enough to just jump in, and he's just sitting there flipping flapjacks?
Well, I mean, I think that speaks to Aidan this entire episode.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, but Carrie ends up taking an ATV, which I thought she looked so cute and cunt on. Well, she got on, in her heels and in
Yeah.
Homer's clothes with his little
Creeping.
jerseys and stuff.
Creeping on the ATV. 0.2 miles an
Creeping.
hour.
0.2. In fairness, she doesn't have a helmet and she also doesn't know how to drive.
No, she had a helmet on.
No, she didn't. Did she?
It was like a little red helmet. I thought.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, she did.
Well, Aidan says he would take Carrie himself, but he has to supervise Wyatt and keep him occupied. I have that in my notes. Then our next scene, we get LTW at work.
Yeah,
and she's waiting to meet Miss Marion. Now what I will say is this was a Juneteenth treat. Thank you. And just like that.
Okay.
On top of that, my mind, my mind just goes all over the place. During this scene, it went to LL Cool J's character on In the House.
Okay. Throwback.
Because his name was also Marion. And this was literally out of like the premiere, like the pilot of that show, with Debbie Allen's character thinking that she's meeting a housekeeper with a woman named Marion, and in comes in LL Cool J. So I just looked at those parallels there. But my God, I'll let you take it. I'm stuttering. Marion Odom. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead,
well,
go ahead.
No. So I have Marion walks in, all caps, his fine ass. I mean, shout out to Mehcad Brooks, because that man's been fine since True Blood. And he doesn't do a lot, at least a lot that I watch. He'll pop up in something like every couple of years. But it's nice to see him.
He has maintained his sexy.
Yeah, mustache too.
I said, now, I don't like those mustaches.
See, it works for me.
Yeah, because you're gay.
True.
You're gay. Clap if you're gay. I feel like that is a very there's a lot of gay men that are getting into the porn stash. That's what I call it.
Yeah, and I have a strong theory as to why, but it's not for this show. It's a very interesting conversation.
Why isn't it for this show?
I mean, it can be.
No,
I can be, but there seems to be, and I was reading this on Threads or Twitter, one of them, but there seems to be a push amongst cis gay men to not necessarily reclaim spaces, but there's a push towards masculinity, like performative masculinity, because a lot of the LGBT spaces they once held have become queer.
Okay.
And so they become more encompassing of the non-binary and the gender non-conforming and this and that. And so what's happening is the cis men, they're basically butching up
saying I'm a man
to separate themselves from these spaces and people of the community.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's interesting. So we're getting a lot of getting a lot of sports bars. Mustaches are coming back. You see people getting a bit more muscular who weren't previously. People are trying to perform their identity harder.
So this is what I find interesting about this, because, and this is not to derail too far from the show, but as someone who is always, it's no secret, maybe it is to the listeners, I've rejected the term queer for myself because that is a term that felt like I woke up one morning and it was just assigned to me. No one talked to me about it. People just were calling me that. And also I grew up with queer being a pejorative and being a slur. I also looked at the culture was not reflective of the intersectionality of Blackness as it shows up in that space. The culture has never been reflective of that. And so what I find interesting is there was this, it almost seems like this push that everybody got on board for to make everything queer. And now, do you think that this is a direct result of where we are politically? Why is everybody trying to separate themselves and reclaim their letter now?
I mean, I think it started a couple of years ago, honestly. But I think that with queer spaces becoming fewer and fewer, I think their importance is becoming, I guess the value of their importance is, becoming greater to some people. And so they're just trying to hold on to the spaces that they have.
I wonder when the discrimination is going to kick in.
Yeah.
When they say, this bar is for masculine gay men only. Because
that's why WeHo's getting a bunch of sports bars. And a lot of the white gays, they're going to Silver Lake now, and doing the whole, whatever you want to call it,
Well, God
So
bless.
yeah,
We'll
that's
do that on the
interesting.
after show. We'll talk about that
Yeah,
on the after
yeah,
show. But
yeah. I'll pour some tequila for that one because I feel like I'm tripping over my words because I'm trying not to get too into
no,
it.
it's
Yeah.
cohesive, but
Okay.
we got to stick to the show. That's why I said
Yeah.
we gotta,
True.
because I just veered off course. But I do find that interesting because I am not a fan of those mustaches, as I feel like it
Well,
signals it's not for me though. It's not
yeah.
for me.
That's for the men's.
Right,
Oh,
right.
you want to break here?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Yeah, let's break.
We're back. So what I want to leave off with Marion is he would have made me compromise what I was supposed to be doing because he is flattery. Okay. Like he is giving
Yeah.
he is flattering her. He seems compassionate. He can manage small talk. Like he's checking off all of my boxes as Shar. And my Achilles heel is he's a fan of her work. Like, don't play with me. Any man that's like, I thought you did so well. I watched that, like, I watched that segment, or like, you got me wrapped around your finger.
Not only is he a fan, but he also knows Grace. If it couldn't get any more perfect,
My
he knows
Grace.
Grace.
My
They played
Grace.
softball together.
Yes.
Which softball?
And he said it was the directors and the editors versus the editors, but the directors are always in charge. This is your baby. He told LTW. I think LTW gonna slip up.
She should.
I think she's gonna slip up. I think that I should also mention that when this storyline was introduced about her talking in her sleep, I was like, this is a recipe for disaster because I can see where it's going, right? Or where it could go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we could just go pray for my sister.
We're going to pray, and we're going to pray that Herbert's in the guest room.
So
but we're
then
not
we
there
get,
yet.
right. So then we get, yes, I have that LTW is apprehensive but smitten, and she tells Marion that she needs another night to think about it. Then we get our next scene, which is Carrie at Daisy's. She's in the dress shop.
The sister wives dress shop.
The sister wives dress shop with all the ruffles, surrounded by ruffles and floral prints. And she's filling Miranda in on everything. You know, they're having this conversation, and Miranda tells Carrie that she has been invited back on the BBC, and she was personally requested by Joy. Ooh.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. I'm very Miranda in this. Like, if a guy I was crushing on was like personally requesting me, I'd definitely be on the phone with the girlies. Like,
see, I'm so checked out of Miranda dating from last. We talked about it last episode.
Yeah, because you're not letting my sis breathe.
Oh, she's breathing. She's breathing too much.
She's figuring it out.
You said never mind. I heard that completely wrong, but keep going.
Figuring it out. Big.
I got you. I mean,
Let
both
the kitchen
apply.
go. Let the kitchen
I wasn't
go,
even thinking
Denver.
about that, but also both do apply.
I was about to say make it a double entendre. Shout out to Jennifer Lewis. So then we get the next scene, and Seema is informed that Ryan Serhant is in her office. Now, this exchange was spicy. I don't like Ryan. I don't think anyone does.
You mean in real life or in the show?
In the show.
Oh, okay. I was like, I love Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know this actor outside of this role.
Oh, he's not an actor. He's an actual real estate person. He
is he really?
Serhant in New York. He's one of the top realtors in the country, in the world, probably. But he owns. He used to be on a $1 million listing, and then he got his own show on Netflix, I think, last year. And now
I did not know that.
Acting,
so he's playing himself.
Yeah,
basically.
Serhant. It's a massive, massive company.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So
well, this exchange was. You said what?
Of course, my dog wants to go and get water right now. So if you hear like incessant licking,
hear Kenzo drinking.
Okay. Well, good. I was gonna edit it out anyway, but
give him a kiss for me.
Kenzo, Auntie Char says hey.
Now, what was his reaction?
He looked up.
Oh, Ryan is really trying to recruit Seema. She's uninterested, so he essentially fires her and gives her to the end of next week to collect her things and vacate. Because that's the dick move that apparently she was waiting on. And Seema was initially prepared to leave in 30 days, but that's just simply not happening. Now she has essentially a week.
And I noticed it was the first time we actually saw the name of the company, I think, on the wall.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off. I was like, you know what? If I were Seema and I was going from a place where my name was on the door to not, I would definitely feel away.
I wouldn't be able to look at that. I'd be so offended. Like I don't want to come in and see that.
No.
But then we get our next scene, and Carrie and Aidan are in bed after sex. And she asks him, she says, now that I have your attention, what was wrong with that damn dining room table that I sent you? And
How
it
long
takes
has she
him
been holding that in?
But you know what? Been there. Been there. I'm not even mad at Carrie. Been there. Now that I have your attention, and you can't go nowhere. And then, I don't have to wait on a response. Now that I have your attention and we're in a vulnerable state, right? Because we just had some fun. Now it's time for Barbara Walters Tell Me Everything, which I'm so excited about. But
something only Carrie would do.
And Shar would as well. No shade.
Okay, well, that tracks.
I would too. That
tracks.
And so Aidan, it takes him a minute. Like, he doesn't even realize what she's talking about. And he casually explains that nothing was wrong with the table. She just wanted a quick answer. And so that was the quickest. And Carrie is so disappointed in this because she's See, again, this is a visual aid of Carrie's investment and Aidan's lack of investment in this Gramercy house and this future with this lady.
Right. She's romanticizing everything and he don't give a shit.
Everything.
Like, it doesn't mean absolutely nothing to him.
That's why when she does finally break up with him, I hope that she doesn't beat herself up because she could be better with her communication, but aside from that, she's in it to win it. She's in it to win it.
Here's the thing, and we see it throughout the episode, but Aidan has a capacity to care and to pay close attention and to nurture. It's in him. He does it with that child. He just doesn't give it to her.
That's what makes it manipulative.
Had it been Wyatt asking about the table, he would have gone, picked it up, dressed
That's
it,
what
got
makes
some chairs
it
for it,
manipulative.
same day.
Because that's what's keeping Carrie romanticizing this because she sees those qualities. But if it's not geared towards you, sister, you got to get up out of there.
Yeah,
and he's not showing them towards you at all. On top of the insult of asking you to wait for 5 years. But he then asks her, can she do him a favor? And she responds, I noticed that she's responded and said, oh my God, another one?
Nasty.
Another leaning onto Carrie making some sacrifices and Aidan like trying to keep it copacetic, and Aidan just keeps asking for more. There's never a bottom to his requests. It's just more and more and more. So then is basically a get to know me day. That's what Carrie boils it down to, because he says, if I give the boys off tomorrow, can you spend some time with them? And Carrie's like, won't it be obvious that it's a get to know me day? But I did also note that in this scene, Carrie says that she doesn't play games because she's not good at them. And I have your favorite word, ominous, in this scene in the writing.
Very, very ominous.
And it's a callback to last week's episode.
It is.
With the game playing.
It is. And I'm glad that even in her willingness to appease Aidan, something's still off. You can sense that she's still kind of like, okay. I mean, I guess I will.
And the actors, the performances are painfully awkward. Like, I feel like I'm in this relationship, like I'm in the room with them. Like,
I don't know how we got here.
We got here because we're dealing with two people who are afraid to throw in the towel, but the towel should have been thrown in a while back. And I think that sometimes when you invest so much time, you ignore the obvious until you can ignore it no longer.
That's fair.
That happens all the time. Yeah. So then she asks him if she'll be sleeping in the guest house again tonight, and he says no, she'll be with him. So good. Okay, Carrie. Oh, I should mention that in this scene he had timed it because he was supposed to be out swimming. Remember, he told him he was going out on a swim, and Carrie's taking a nap.
It would have been longer. Yeah.
Okay.
Girl, shut the fuck up.
Next scene. So I have in my, and so I had to bring this up to you. I was very excited to bring this note that I have written down up to you as a fan of comedic films like I am, and a fan of a J-Lo rom-com.
Okay, let's go.
Like I am.
My favorite.
So LTW, sleep talking. This scene reminded me so much of Jane Fonda in Monster-in-Law.
Yes, absolutely. It really did. It really
did. I
didn't catch it at first, but yes.
She's like, no. When Viola Fields, who's Jane Fonda's character, asks J-Lo's character, can she sleep with her? I'm having nightmares. Can I sleep with you? And then she ends up slapping her. She's like, oh, no. That's one of my favorite scenes in that film.
I need to watch it again.
It's so good. I just made Anthony, my friend Anthony, watch it last year. He had never seen it before. And I said, I'm coming over and we're having a movie day. And we had a movie day. And I was like, you're gonna have such an appreciation for this film when you see it. It's so good. If you've
It's so
never
good.
seen Monster in Law, watch it. It's so good.
Yeah, I second that.
But yeah, so that's what this scene. I was like, I think Denver will enjoy this reference that I have because LTW talking in her sleep just reminded me of that. And Herbert is worn out. So you mentioned this earlier. He ends up gathering his things and going to the guest room to sleep.
And I feel like that was an appropriate thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, in the moment.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, he has a career, he has his own responsibilities, and he also wants to get sleep. And if your partner is, and these aren't subtle sentences, LTW's like shouting in her sleep.
No, she's sleep. Like she needs her sleep too. So I mean, you know, once I get.
But this is like the third or fourth time.
Yeah.
The next morning, she's refreshed and awake, and Herbert reveals that he slept in the guest room, and LTW isn't having it. She said,
and
this
I
is
understand
a sleep
that.
divorce.
And I understand that too.
Really?
And yes, I understand his desire to do it, but her reaction, I'm like, yeah, I would feel the same way.
So I used to be a proponent, and I don't know where I stand with this, but I was such a proponent on separate bathrooms. I think that's where I land with it.
I could do that.
And that was one of the first debates on my old podcast, like literally 10 years ago that we had, because people were also getting separate bedrooms because of design choices and things like that. I think where I am today is I'd like to sleep with my partner. Unless there's something gross going on, like super, super gross, excessive sweating.
Yeah, I mean, sleep I feel like always needs to be together. Yeah. I could see separate rooms for like stuff, you know.
Right.
Or
and
like
totally, I'm still a champion for separate bathrooms.
Yeah.
I don't want to share a bathroom with a man. No, thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we share like face stuff, so that's a little hard. But I do have like a separate bathroom where I kind of like shave and stuff.
Yeah.
On my own. Yeah.
I don't need to share a bathroom with a man ever. That's another podcast. So
they are kind of gross. Even gay men bathrooms are kind of gross.
Yeah, they can. Whew.
It can be.
Like I said, that'll be in the book, right? So then we get that little scene of Carrie in that ugly dress and saying "Little House on the Carrie" and Aidan making corny jokes, and the boys are like rolling their eyes and like so annoyed at these corny jokes. But that was just a little cut-in scene because then we get Miranda on the set. She's about to do her stand-up for the BBC, and in this scene, she invites Joy out to dinner. But Joy already has plans. She's already booked. She's going to be meeting friends from the UK at Gramercy Tavern, which is perfect for Miranda because she is currently house sitting Carrie's house in Gramercy Park. So she invites Joy over for a nightcap.
Is this the drink and tea and combo?
Yes. The drink, tea, and combo.
I like it. I might use it. I might use that actually.
I almost told some of my business, but I'm not. Let's move on.
Okay,
they're 30 seconds from going live. And once Miranda begins her live shot, everything is going fine until the wild Cvntryside.
I mean, it wasn't really that bad of a hiccup. I mean, she finished it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean you have to when you're doing stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, did old girl kind of like set her up or get in her head? Because she told her if you find yourself going too fast, just take a break.
Breathe, yeah.
And I think she was trying to kind of practice that, internalize that, and then it kind of messed her up. And then we got Wild Cvntryside.
Wild Cvntryside. I also was thinking, well, I'll address that when the meme comes up. But that happens. And to me, as someone who's a broadcaster, that's not that big of a deal. If this would have happened to me, I don't think I would have given it a second thought. I certainly wouldn't be expecting a viral moment.
Me neither.
Like there are far worse things. You could have a booger hanging out your nose. You could trip and fall. Like in today's climate, like I could see, okay, here's my thing. I could see if we were watching this through a 2011 or 2012 lens where this would have potential to become a meme. But given that this is current, like present day, there's no way that Wild
would have been
Cvntryside, I don't
anything.
think would make a splash, even though it
No.
seems to be a roll of the dice. You really don't know what will become a meme and what won't.
I mean, this was such like and I have it in my notes, like an older person's joke. Like
Mhm.
only somebody, their age would even think about memeing that this would be even funny. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, we
Yeah.
don't care. We don't care. As a youth.
So then we
Youth.
get the next scene. And
Youth.
just like that, I'm fishing.
Which wild cunt, Treeside. We went straight to it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Carrie cracks a joke about salmon. That she hopes there's some salmons out there because that's the only fish she knows how to cook, which I was like, girl, if you know how to prepare salmon, you literally know how to prepare any, like fish is not hard to season.
No, I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. Because
Why?
salmon's a little bit hardier. So if you overcook salmon a little bit, it's fine. But any other fish, it starts to get all flaky.
You
and
make fish jerky.
Yeah, like salmon can take a beating.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. I agree.
You know what I mean?
But
Like Branzino really can't.
It's still just a matter of heat temperature and timing. Like fish, the point I'm trying to make is if you can prepare one form of fish, you can do them. Like they're not that complicated to prepare fish and season and whatever. But again, Wyatt isn't having it. Carrie asks him what he wants to do instead of fishing, and he wants to go to the mall to kill zombies at one of those virtual reality places.
Not only is he not having it, he's being a dick.
Yeah.
Like he's being a complete dick.
Because this is Virginia, not Alaska, bitch.
Well, the funny thing is, as he was right before he said it, in my mind, I'm like, salmon wouldn't be in a pond. Salmon, don't they swim upstream?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was in my mind. And then he said what he said. And I was like, see, you didn't have to say it like that.
But then Homer was like, she's being funny. Like, relax, bring it on down. Okay, so now we get Miranda. She's preparing something to eat at Carrie's in Carrie's kitchen when she gets a text from Brady. And now enters the wild cunt meme.
Sure.
She calls him. She's panicked. I was like, I would have enjoyed them for this wild cunt meme to leave like white Twitter. And it would have been nice if they would have incorporated a beat in here. Like I would have loved to
like
hear
somebody dancing,
like a Vogue beat. Wild cunt, wild cunt. Like that's more realistic of meme culture anyway.
Yeah, true.
It's just more realistic to me. But yeah,
again,
Miranda's
the old people.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
Who cares? And Brady was right. The next time a celebrity says or does something stupid, like this is going to leave. And even if a celebrity didn't say or do anything stupid, this is not going to last in like the memosphere or the news cycle too long. Like you got about 12 hours, mom. Bring it on down. Relax.
Have you ever been memed?
I have never been memed before. I have created GIFs. I think I have like one or two GIFs out there. Is that how you pronounce it? GIF. But I've never been memed. I've never done anything meme worthy. I think I'm too buttoned up.
Yeah, I think so.
Even though my face tells a story. That's one thing I can't like. Don't have me like debating someone. Like I can't like my face, these eyebrows, everything tells a story. So no. Have you ever been memed?
My face at all? No. I mean, I think people have used like a picture, like a reaction, but like friends. Not like
Oh, please. My friends have so many unsolicited photos of me, screen grabs from FaceTime. They meme me in group chats and things like that, but not on a public sphere.
Yeah, I've been dragged publicly.
Yeah,
a bunch of times.
Me too. Yeah, people disagree.
I mean,
you get dragged when you have an opinion.
I mean, I'm getting dragged right now, I think.
For what?
I said that I wish that Halle Bailey would stop trying to be India Arie and give us the Janet Jackson bops we deserve. And
thank you all so much for joining us for this episode. Just like that, I'm gonna catch you next week.
And the Chloe and Halle stands they're not happy with me right now.
Well, that seems to be the cycle. What platform did you say this on?
So it's crazy. Is I was cooking last night and I was, I bounce back and forth between Blue Sky. So on Blue Sky, I'm active. On Threads, I'm active. On Twitter, I'm mostly read only.
Same. I don't
like somebody I know says something that I have to like.
Yeah.
Or I feel like I need to respond to. So I mistakenly, and I was also listening to new music. So I was listening to Cardi's new one and then some other stuff. And I mistakenly.
And Halle has new music out, right?
Well, that's what it came from. So I made a tweet about I was posting about Cardi's song, and then I went to Hallie's, and I did them both on Twitter or X or whatever. And then I was like, oh shit, I just realized I'm in the wrong app. And I tweeted that too because I meant to do it on the other one. And I was like, but you know what? It's out there. I'm leaving it. And lo and behold, it's doing what it does. And
Not you gained followers of DDG.
Doo-doo garbage.
Yes, doo-doo garbage, child. But yeah, dragging happens. I've never been a meme. We then get the next scene.
What do we have?
We get them. It's at the VR place, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
And we're at the VR place, and Wyatt hits Carrie on the head by accident.
And I think it was an accident.
But a word to the ominous writing. Quote, I was just trying to step in and save my dad. I didn't mean it. Now, this scene pissed me off. This scene really set me over the edge with Aidan. My God, I was like, Carrie, get out of there, bitch. Get out of there. Break up with him and leave.
Well, thing number one, Aidan cusses quite a lot. And
yes,
I don't think I knew that.
He's like, you all aren't going to go kill any fucking zombies without me. Like
he was letting them out, even when he was shooting them. I mean, there was a lot of expletives flying around.
Well, his boys got the mouths of sailors too, as we'll see towards the end of the episode.
Well, it made me think, well, is Wyatt a reflection of his father?
Yeah. Aren't we all in some way, shape, form, or fashion an amalgamation of our parents, of the people who reared us?
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
and then the second thing, which I think is what you're about to talk about, and I quote, I don't have to make him feel bad.
Yeah, he's not a violent kid. You don't have to make him feel bad. And Carrie's like, damn, I feel like I can't even soothe my head now. And that's when Aidan steps in and tries to comfort her by kissing the boo-boo, and she's not feeling it. I would have been over it too.
My alarm bells
don't touch me.
Off. You don't have to make it. I mean, I can't react in front of a grown child.
And I also can't remember Wyatt's problem. I remember that he like crashed the car and was on substances, but I can't. What did that have to do with screens?
He was troubled.
Right. So he was troubled, but I don't understand Aidan's emphasis on like shielding him from all screen time.
I mean, I think that's just his parenting style, because we find out later, he doesn't want. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah, we're going to be painting houses instead of taking life-saving medication.
But in watching Wyatt throughout the episode, I believe there's some neurodivergence.
Oh, for sure.
On. There's some
for sure.
Not just the ADHD. Which I have a bone to pick with that too, because what we're seeing, that is not ADHD.
That's layered. Huh?
We're on to some bigger things.
That's a mixture.
But yeah, they didn't say specifically.
Well, so yeah, Aidan pissed me off with that. And then we get the next scene. It's now time for dinner at Charlotte's house. And Miranda calls Charlotte as she's getting, ready. Miranda's trying to just, shoot the shit with Charlotte. And then, of course, Rock says, tell Aunt Miranda I saw her mean. Like
she said, you said shoot the shit as if she wasn't on the toilet.
That is true. Shu tried to come into the bathroom, which is also very common for cats. My dogs never tried to do this. I was raised with both, but my cat always loved trying to tiptoe in the bathroom when I was in the bathroom.
Oh, no. Kenzo will sit at my feet.
Well, that's because he's obsessed with you.
Yeah, true.
Like he is obsessed with you and always has been.
Yeah.
So I have in my notes that it's a bit chaotic over at Charlotte's house. Pop is looking for cream soda. And then the lady from 10F comes up for her banana chai. That's what I got in my notes. This is a double entendre. A banana. Her name is Marilyn. And Pop's name is Morris.
Okay. See,
nice.
You and names.
Marilyn
old lady, old man.
Marilyn wants spare everything. Marilyn's like, I loved that. I can't remember. I think it was Lily, maybe, or it was either Lily or Rock that complimented Charlotte's brisket. And Marilyn was like, you got some barbecue sauce.
Like, ma'am, you're not even supposed to be here.
And also Harry getting mad because Pop complimented Charlotte's brisket. And he was like, my sisters thought you'd never be a real Jew. I thought you liked me. I'm like, why would you tell Charlotte? You know Charlotte about to think about this for
Right.
40 days and 40
Forever.
nights.
Right.
Why would you do that?
Oh,
But yeah, Marilyn asked for the barbecue sauce. Now, this is when we get Diego chatting.
yeah.
And we find out that, which I also love the scene when Pop Pop asks, young man, what have you been up to? And Anthony
Mhm.
answers, and he's like, don't brag. I wasn't even talking to you.
Yeah, I did enjoy this scene just as a whole. It was
Yeah, it was
chaotic in
good.
a good way. Yeah.
It was good. I just noticed we got 2 family dinner scenes.
Yeah.
There's a theme this episode.
Mhm.
Well, Diego, Pop Pop says back in my day, boy ballet dancers didn't have girlfriends. They had boyfriends. And Diego broke it up by saying, oh, I have a boyfriend too. Charlotte
Gagged.
gagged.
I did too. I did
Charlotte
too.
gagged.
I did too.
What I thought was so funny is Lily reveals that Diego is Polly. And instead of
Mhm.
addressing Lily directly, Pop Pop says, Rock, you know all the new things. Rock, you know
Oh man.
all of the new words and terms and stuff. What is your sister
What does
talking
this
about?
mean?
Now, Denver, don't reach through the computer and slap me when I say this.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever heard of polysexual.
Well, wait, because I have in my notes, I don't think that they explain that right. Because pansexual is you're attracted to all genders sexually.
Yeah. All gender
Polyamorous,
presentations.
right? If you're in a polyamorous relationship, I believe that's you have the capacity to love a bunch of people at the same time, like date them. But if I'm not mistaken, and if you're listening and you want to correct me, send in a speak pipe. But you can be a polyamorous pansexual, but I don't think polysexual is a thing. Wouldn't that just be?
Well, it might be, and you and I just might be behind.
Maybe
on
it's
the new
possible.
terms.
It's possible. It's possible. I just kind of stick to the rivers and lakes that I'm used to.
Okay, same. I've been dragged about that.
Things
I've
are
never
evolving
heard this
faster
term.
than.
I was so embarrassed. I was
Let
like,
me Google. I'm going to Google right now. I should have done it last night. I just didn't care enough. But I'm going to do it right now.
I gagged though.
See, a polysexual person is someone who is sexually and or romantically attracted to multiple genders. It is not the same thing as being bisexual or pansexual.
So why not use polyamorous? Because it's just sex, and amorous implies actual like relationship and love.
Wait. Here's the nuance. Polysexual refers to an attraction to multiple genders, while pansexual refers to an attraction to people regardless of gender.
Right. Hearts, not parts.
Right.
That's what they say for pansexual, I've heard.
While some pansexual individuals might identify as polysexuals, not all polysexual individuals are pansexual. And polysexual individuals may not be attracted to all genders. I guess.
Sounds like I need to take a gender study course. I'm very vanilla. I am a serial monogamist and tragically heterosexual.
See, my issue is like I don't care what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm open to it all. Sure, Jan.
But we have to know the terms because we get roped into conversations.
Yeah.
So we have to know the terms as time moves on.
I mean, we know them and they change and they expand and
yes,
what
they
was
do.
Bisexual is evolved into polysexual and pansexual, and we just keep adding letters to this acronym.
Okay, Candace Owens. I'm like, hold on.
What's crazy is I heard how that sounded as it came out, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, I saw you take a pause. That's what I was like.
That is not what I mean at all.
Those who know and love you know that you don't mean it that way. It's just the way I that's why I let the air kind of just be dead right there because I clocked it too. Like, okay, Fox
no,
News.
What I mean is we keep adding to them faster than we can learn what they actually are.
Correct.
That's what I mean.
Now that is another podcast for another day. That's the after show because there are some theories I have that are not appropriate for We're Just Like That.
Okay.
So then we get the next scene. and it's bedtime, and LTW and Herbert, they're getting ready for bed, and Lisa tells Herbert not to worry about her sleep talking because she ended up hiring Marion. So there's nothing to worry about, and you can go to sleep. Please go to sleep in here, baby. He agrees to go to sleep, and then LTW spends her entire night staying awake, basically.
Which, I mean, that's love, I guess. But I mean, I didn't like him automatically defaulting to the guest room. I feel like that was you don't get to do that.
Interesting.
I don't mind you solving a problem, but I don't
Mhm.
like you preemptively assuming there's going to be one, because that
Ooh.
Well,
he's
means you're
grown.
okay with
You
it.
understand where he's coming from, though. He's grown accustomed to expecting that you're gonna be in your sleep talking about what was the
Yeah, but
word she was saying.
not after I said sleep divorce. That means you're okay with sleep divorce. Like you are sleep separating from me.
We know one thing we know about Herbert Wexley is he's always going to prioritize himself. He comes first.
Yeah. I just didn't like it.
Well, so like I said, she spends all night, and then we get our next scene, which is Seema packing up. I love this scene because she gives this impassioned speech to her assistant Kiki, and she extends an invitation for Kiki to join her because Seema's branching out on her own, and Kiki's like, that's cute and all, but my rent is $3,000.
And it wasn't really that impassioned. It looked like she was trying to figure it out.
Like kind of grandstand.
I saw you, and
I believe in it. I took for someone to believe in me, and so now I believe in you.
You're just full of shit.
Yeah. But my rent is $3,000. I'm not leaving this cushy job with Ryan. Then we get our next scene. Aidan is setting the table as Tate pulls up with Kathy and boyfriend Bob. Kathy comments on how thin Wyatt is looking because she made him some macaroni and cheese, and she's begging him to eat it because you need to carb on up. And he says that Aidan is overworking him. Aidan jokes and says, call social services. I didn't find this funny. But not all humor is for me. I was like, what is this?
So I was actually surprised that Aidan kind of took that stance just because he does kind of baby Wyatt.
Yeah, he seems to be walking on eggshells with them.
So he's kind of like, so for him to kind of give a smart ass retort, I was like, oh, okay. So you can like not baby your son.
True.
Good for you.
Now, what do you think about Tate? Do you think he's being facetious or for real? When Aidan was like, Tate, you remember Carrie? And he's like, no, I don't.
Oh no, I think he was being funny. I think he was being funny.
Okay, because I was like, damn.
No, Carrie. he seems to have a good sense of humor, from what I gather. Okay. Like he seems to be pretty level, you know.
Well, then we get Kathy thanking Carrie for bringing the Adderall, and then suddenly Miranda calls. Carrie steps away to talk to Miranda. Carrie has seen the meme, which is funny. I'm guessing Miranda sent it to her. And she steps away to calm Miranda's nerves about this viral moment she's having. And Miranda reveals that Joy canceled on coming over to the Gramercy house after dinner. And Miranda's beginning to spiral. This happens. Sometimes we drum up narratives in our head, and instead of being balanced, we run with whatever narrative. Like our brain is always looking for confirmation bias. So of course she's not speaking to me because she gave me this opportunity and I just messed up so bad. And I love that Carrie was like, girl, only you are thinking about that. Like it's not making that big of a splash, but Miranda is totally like borderline crashing out about this.
Spiraling. Yeah.
Yeah. But then Carrie gives her the idea to invite Joy and her friends over to have a drink after.
Right. But not after clocking that. What you mean, girl? You invited her to my house? Which that would have been my immediate question. Like my initial, what do you mean? Pause.
Certainly, especially given that you were, finger banging in my kitchen. Okay.
Well, you brought that up. I didn't bring it up this time.
I'm just saying we real comfortable. We real comfortable.
You have to be real comfortable to cat sit in my house. And
sleeping in my bed.
I have to trust your judgment to bring whoever you're bringing over to my house.
I do think that there is some symbolism in Carrie not having furniture.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
A
house is not a home. A chair is still a chair. A house is not a home, baby.
But I mean, that ties in. It comes back up at the end.
It does. It does. So then, I have in my notes right here. I have a question to ask you, which I feel like do you think Carrie will stay at this Gramercy house ultimately, or do you foresee her moving again?
I think she'll stay.
Okay.
I think she'll stay, and I think I mean, here's my honest thoughts. I think that she will stay for the time being, but at the rate Carrie likes to make a decision, the show will be canceled before she gets a chance to move out of that house. Yeah.
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 And moving is such a pain, but she wouldn't have much to move. I just see her downsizing. Like the boys aren't coming. Her and Aidan are about to break up. I don't see the room, the need for all that space and spending all that money to furnish that huge space when she could
And
just,
she's
it's just
got
her
it.
and Shoe. It's just her and Shoe.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we get the next scene, and Bob is chatting with Carrie, telling her how it took him 4 years to break into this tight-knit family. Like, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Aidan doesn't like Bob to have opinions, which I kind of understand. I mean, they didn't
Yeah,
say how
I get
long
it.
Kathy and Bob have been dating, but Bob is a boyfriend, not a husband.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
could
and I get
kind of
that. I
understand
get
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
But he also reveals that, he totally sides with Kathy. Aidan doesn't want Wyatt to take the Adderall.
So it's interesting. I think in my I don't know, penchant for shock value TV, I made all these predictions like, oh, she's gonna be the crackhead and this, that, and hoping it would be something as dramatic
I
as that.
thought Aidan was an addict. That was my prediction last episode.
Come to find out, it's weird because it's a lot more normal. One
Yeah.
parent agrees, the other parent doesn't agree.
Which is common.
It's very common.
Which is common, especially in divorce.
So does that mean Aidan's an anti-vaxxer too?
Would you be surprised?
No.
Aidan probably stormed the
Speed
damn
stick?
Capitol.
No. Probably.
I mean, would you be surprised? Like, come on now. Carrie then goes to confront Aidan about how she wouldn't have brought the Adderall if she knew he didn't approve. He abruptly cuts her off and says, Carrie, not tonight. It's Tater Tot's birthday. Then we get our next scene. Joy and her friends arrive for the drink. The friends recognize the wild cunt Miranda. Miranda says it was taken out of, she said context. But the gay friend is like, context. They were just riding her ass. I mean, it's her moment. And I wish Miranda would have leaned into it. I know that it's a mistake that's haunting her, but just lean into it, girl. Because if you lean into it, people are less prone. People are less prone to LOL about it if you lean into it.
Yeah. But some people just genuinely do not like being the butt of the joke. Just in any
Mind you, this is coming from me.
Yeah. I
probably would have taken the Miranda route and been panicking.
Yeah. Now I would answer the door like, "Hello, it's me, the wild cunt."
Cunty,
I would have sucked all the air out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before they could even make a punchline,
I would have beat him to it.
We then get the next scene. Harry and Charlotte are attempting to have sex, and he can't seem to get it up. Harry is also obsessing over old age. Charlotte comforts him.
To him? Sorry, but didn't this happen to him before? Like in the old
feel like
series?
it did.
I feel like it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlotte comforts him in ways that only she can. With the warranty and how they will still be Harry and Charlotte regardless of a sexual life. And that's when Rock knocks on the door and reveals that Pop's iPad was corrupted by porn downloads.
Which is interesting because that actually, if it's an iPad, that doesn't happen. Just a little tech tidbit. The file system is different.
Yeah.
But
we don't know what he was looking up, though. All she saw was Pornhub. You don't know what type of deviant sites he was on.
Well, I think what kind of got me was even after this whole Pornhub thing, when they were getting her out of the room, they just kind of let her take the iPad with her. Full of Pornhub.
She was supposed to be going to go give it to Pop. Charlotte said mentioned nothing about this.
Wait, what?
Remember, Charlotte was like, "Don't say anything to him. Just
go put it in the room. Just give it back to him." Oh,
give it back. And she was like, "Well, he's not even here. Right, he went to 10F.
Yeah,
and said, don't wait up."
Right. But then after that, they were like, "Just go, just take it, just go."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they trust Rock more than they trusted Lily. Rock seems a bit more grounded. Lily's a bit more erratic, like her mama.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Rock is. I don't know.
Modern parenting.
I was about to say this is the same woman who went out in the snow to go in a snowstorm to go get condoms. So it's like maybe it's not that big of a deal.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
So then we get Joy's. I have in my notes Joy's obnoxious friends in Carrie's tiny kitchen because they were obnoxious.
And they were very clearly having way more fun than Joy was.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that
Which
Joy was
and that
kind of
happens.
funny acting.
And that happens. I hate when that happens. Like, it's rare, but like, you know, when you're out with a bunch of people and for some
Yeah.
reason you're just like not on the same
Oh my God,
level
yes.
as everyone else. Like, you
Yes.
might be tired or you're ready to
Social
go.
battery depleted.
Yeah. But you're there trying to support and do the thing, but you're just like, all right,
Uh-huh.
it happens.
I hate when it happens, but yes, I have been Joy, and I've also been the friends.
Yeah, same.
Depending, you know.
Yeah.
So now we get to the explosive scene of the episode. It's Tate's birthday dinner. Everybody's gathered around playing apples to apples. And during this game, Carrie has unique explanations for all of her choices. Wyatt is getting so upset because no one is picking his clues.
Right.
Like,
and this is when it started to click that, okay, there's some deeper underlying diagnosis going on.
And something needs to be done because the older brothers are fed up. And that's typically how it happens, right?
Yeah.
When there's problems with siblings, the other siblings are going to be fed up typically before the parents are, especially if the parents aren't doing anything, like much of anything. It's like adultification of kids.
Yeah.
Because we're walking on eggshells around a sibling, like we can't relax. You know what I mean? It's like being considerate, but at what cost? If y'all ain't gonna do nothing.
We can only do this for so long. At some point, something's got to change.
Exactly.
You know
the brothers Homer and Tate are fed up with Wyatt.
And I have in my notes, Bob is the MVP for me. Because
Bob was hilarious in this
Bob
scene.
was like, I'm gonna sit over here with
Bob
my drink.
Was hilarious.
I already know. I've been here for 4 years.
Yeah.
I know where this is gonna go.
I know exactly where this is. I'm over here with my Sir Davis neat.
Yeah, exactly. I can't do anything. I can't have an opinion.
Nope.
I'm just not even gonna subject myself to it at all.
Nope. He's just very funny in this scene.
You guys raise your school shooter.
No shade. That's what Wyatt is giving.
Down.
Damn, Denver. That's what Wyatt is giving. Down. Like, that's a recipe for disaster.
I mean, he broke a window.
Well, yeah, Wyatt, I have in my note, Wyatt has an outburst and ruins the game because Jennifer Lawrence played Mystique in X-Men. And I should mention that he's cursing, like, these are the most white Virginian curse. Anytime someone says, Jesus, fuck, I'm like, oh, I need to get up out the room.
Hello.
This isn't the room for me to be in.
At 14.
At 14, girl, shawam. But then the Adderall debate is sparked in front of everyone. This is Kathy versus Aidan. And this is when the ADHD diagnosis is brought to surface.
And that ADHD, ask somebody with it. What I was looking at, that was not ADHD.
No, that's not ADHD.
By itself.
No. Yeah, by itself. We should know that by itself.
Yeah, by itself. No.
Carrie is so visibly uncomfortable. And even in this chaotic scene, I still was laughing at her.
Me too.
Because it was so
Me too. It was hopeless.
It was like her whole life was flashing in front of her eyes. Like, is this something? And it also reminded me of how they say, like, when you marry a person, you also marry the family. Like, it goes beyond the person. When you date a person, you date the family. Like,
you do,
depending on how close in proximity people are and how frequently they come together and meet up for reunions and celebrations. And it's like, it just seemed like Carrie's whole life was flashing before her eyes because is this something I want to deal with?
Right.
I just want my man.
Like, you do have, this is fucked up.
This is very fucked up.
And this is fucked up.
And you don't seem to have control over it.
No.
That's the thing. And I would be scared that Wyatt would harm me. No shade. I'm sleeping with one eye open because he already don't like me. And we're experiencing violent outbursts like this. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So, yeah, Carrie's so uncomfortable. Wyatt breaks a window and runs off. And that's that scene. We then get Joy leaving Miranda. And Miranda, what I love about this scene is Miranda confronts it. Because Miranda could have let Joy leave and just crashed out. Like, Miranda could have spiraled. But it serves you. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Miranda confronts her.
Like we've been saying, just say what you mean.
Say it like you mean it. And what I love is Joy's problem. Of course, this is the problem when we adhere to our own narratives instead of seeking clarification. Joy's problem isn't what Miranda thinks it is. It has nothing to do with the meme, but instead it's because she likes Miranda. And when she realizes that she's attracted to somebody, she tends to shut down.
That's sweet.
It's also very self-aware.
Yeah.
Because this happens every day.
It does.
I questioned whether or not I've turned into this girl. I don't know if
I
I'm
mean, I don't think I
activated when
shut
I like
down.
someone.
No, I think I actually get more activated, actually. I mean, I get a little nervous,
Yeah.
but no, I need you to know what time it is.
I think that for me, it's contingent on whether or not the energy is reciprocal.
Mm,
If I feel
okay.
like it's one-sided, I think I'm going to disengage and shut down. If I
Okay.
feel like there's something there I'm picking up on, I'm
Mm,
activated. I'm tuned in, I think.
got you. See,
It's been a
I'm
long
I'm
time since I actually
it's
liked
funny. I'm
somebody for
so
real.
I'm so detached and nonchalant most of the time, but when I'm in
Yeah.
that situation, I'm really good at pulling
You're locked
things out of.
in.
Oh, baby. Oh, yeah.
I also loved, Joy saying, I'm a horrible kisser. And Miranda's like, let me be the judge of that.
And then she went for it.
I live.
Like it wasn't even like Miranda leading that kiss. Like it was Joy
I
leading that kiss, and I
live.
was like, this could either be great or it could be terrible.
I live.
What does Miranda know?
Miranda's figuring it out, but I'm happy for her.
I mean, anything's better than Che Diaz. So
My God. Let's get Che on the show.
no, because I have to be mean to her face. Their
Let's get
face.
Rosie on the show. She ain't doing nothing in Ireland.
I'm leaving it there.
We get to our final scene. Aidan and Carrie are talking in the room. Aidan thinks Carrie is breaking up with him. I have in my notes that she should have, and I was also hoping that she would have.
Well, I'm so glad. First of all, I'm so glad that Carrie went back to the guest house. She said, "You know
Yes.
what? It's too much
I
going
have
on over
seen,
here.
my eyes have seen everything that I need
I'm
to
going
see."
back."
Yeah, you do. Carrie said, "Woo, that'll do it. You don't have to worry about me." I
Yeah.
also have in my notes that in this conversation, Carrie and Aidan are having this tough conversation, and he reveals that he asked her to stay technically out of obligation because he felt bad for shutting her down in the way that he was treating her in former episodes. Like he didn't want her to stay because he wanted her to stay. It was to
Right.
appease her or
I'm like,
appease her
now you feel bad.
expectations.
Now you feel bad.
I
I
don't
had to
like
see your
that.
entire family crumble.
Yeah, I don't
For
like
you to be
that.
like, oh, I felt bad.
She ends up giving him this damn key. Quote, use it when you can, use it when you need, but don't use it out of guilt. I would have never given him a
No,
key.
this should have been the exit stage left.
Yeah,
This should have
and
been
she's leaving it too vague.
Well, and she was like, first I didn't really understand why you needed to be here, but after seeing it, I know you need to be here, and
Yeah.
I don't need to be involved in this.
No.
So
And I know
it
the
was
boys aren't coming up. I got them mattresses in the hallway. Like, there's no need to design a room for them.
so
Like,
it was kind of like a breakup, but also like keeping the door open. I didn't understand.
Classic Carrie.
Understand.
Sister,
I didn't
pick
understand.
a side. Do
And
not
then
leave this man. Don't give him this life raft where he can just pop up in New York and go to the
disrupt
Gramercy
whatever
house
you have going on whenever he wants.
to seek refuge in your home and in between your legs,
And
only
when
to
you're
then go
dealing
back to Virginia.
when you're dealing with somebody who's going through what Wyatt's going through, it's kind of a lifelong situation.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that's just going to resolve.
No, that's not going anywhere. I was disappointed in her not breaking it off, though.
Yeah, it was. I don't know.
But in this
In my notes, I just have like a
conversation,
line of question marks. Like what? Like we're breaking up, but here's a key.
but this is Carrie Bradshaw. This is classic Carrie Bradshaw.
It pissed me off.
Isn't she a Libra? Like, girl, make a decision. But also in this conversation, Carrie makes a reference to game playing again, and she reveals that she's been waiting on Aidan to make a move forward. Like, she's calling out, she's speaking the red flags, and she has not gotten thumped upside her head.
No.
To realize that she needs to exit stage left out of this.
No, because she's a red flag too. She is a walking red flag.
Yeah. She's just a hopeless romantic who Carrie, you've learned too many lessons. We've been following you for 20 years. There's no reason you should be in your mid 50s and still doing a lot of this same stuff.
I mean, I just wonder how many times is she going to do this? Like, let's go down to Virginia and do with the family and pray we don't have an outburst. I mean, that's
and lock in for 5 years. And this boy is mean mugging me while squeezing his stress ball. Like, I can't even relax. Hell no.
Who wants that?
In our final scene, we get Carrie. She's landed in New York. And, the voice comes in, continuing this period piece novella she's writing. And what I noticed about this episode is we did not get a teaser for next week.
No, we didn't.
That's interesting.
which I normally turn those off anyway because I kind of like to go in blind.
No, I'd like to
Yeah.
see coming up
Mm-mm.
next week on And Just Like That. We did not get a teaser. How would you rate this episode?
What did I give last week? An 8? I would say 7.5.
I give it a
Like I don't think
6.5.
I was as entertained as last week.
Yeah.
But I think I like Walmacod, so
Right. This episode felt like it served a purpose of just moving storylines
yeah.
forward. That's what it
In a
felt
way.
like to me.
But even Carrie and Aidan, like they move forward, but I feel like we're still in the same where are we?
Well, hopefully we'll get Gardner Adam.
I hope so. And I did note that when she did at the end go to buy that table that she loved, the table that she wanted to put in her house, she went to get it.
Thank you for bringing that up.
And it was sold out.
Yeah, you, Carrie, you better lock in. I feel like the universe is giving her all different types of signs. You better lock
like
in.
If you don't move on something that you want, you're gonna miss it. So hopefully she took that lesson. If the man can't teach her, maybe a table can.
No, really,
Maybe.
really. Well, with that, I am satisfied with this.
I'm satisfied. Listen, it's another episode with no mention of Samantha, which I'm also happy about.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever hear about Samantha ever again.
Good.
I also want to remind everyone to give us 5 stars, leave some comments, head on over to the YouTube and check us out there if you want to see our faces as we do this podcast. And be sure to leave us a message. Speakpipe.com/we're just like that. We love hearing from you.
Yes.
And until next week.
All right.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.